Yo, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is December 19th. When you will be seeing this, it'll be December 20th. Hope you guys are having a great holiday season. I am somewhat in the holiday spirit. It's one thing that's been kind of on my mind, and we're going to talk about that today. Um, I did record a video yesterday and I uploaded it, but for some reason it stuck on the uploading process, and when I went back on my computer today, I found out that it wasn't uploaded. So it should be uploaded by now. I just had to resume it, but yeah, so it's just a little bit late, a few hours behind. But the thing that I want to talk about today, by the way, I'm extremely sore. I'm extremely sore, guys. I did arms, biceps on on Tuesday, and man, I cannot straighten my arms for shit. Like I literally feel like I'm stuck. Or you know those guys in the gym that like they kind of just walk like this. You know, I thought they were probably just putting on an act or trying to look brolic, but maybe they just fucking super sore, bro. I don't know. Anyway, what's been going on is this whole AI business, right? I feel like we need to talk more about the AI business. We need to forget about all this other shit that people are talking about. And, you know, all this rapper business and celebrity stuff and blah, 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 blah. We don't care. We need to talk about what's really happening right now. And the AI shit is really kind of spooking me out, man. So I had a long conversation with ChatGPT trying to get to the bottom of this AI stuff. Now let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So if you know, if you've been, if you even, you know, keep up with Elon Musk or anything like that, um, he always says stuff like this, right? And he's kind of, and there's a lot of people that's kind of pushing this narrative that the future is going to be amazing with AI and robots enabling sustainable abundance for all, right? This guy Douglas says, will it look like this? Elon says, pretty much, right? I mean, it looks cool, right? It does look cool. This is not the first time that Elon has mentioned, you know, this amazing utopia in which money is irrelevant and everyone has everything and access to everything all the time. It's just very confusing to figure out how that works. We have it in our human nature to want to strive for more and to want to, I don't know, stand out above the rest. And right now in current society, how it's expressed is through getting successful, getting rich, and traveling, eating exclusive food, going to exclusive places, buying a nice car, buying a nice house, etc., etc., etc. If everyone can have a nice house, then a nice house is meaningless. If everyone can have a nice car is meaningless. If everyone can fly to Italy and have dinner with in the nicest place ever, I don't know, then it's meaningless, guys. If everyone has access to it, and that's just, I'm just being honest. Not saying I don't want everyone to be able to move around, but it's just the truth that if everyone has access to everything, then everything means nothing. And so I was having this conversation with ChatGPT, and I had a really long conversation, like 2 hours with this AI, and I'm trying to figure out how this universe would work in which money is useless. And AI basically goes on to tell me that it would work based off of contribution. So the example I put in place was a house in Malibu. How would me, or let's just say, for example, a guy named Steve, an average Joe named Steve, he wants the house in Malibu. And access to housing is for everyone. But every 15 million other people also want this house in Malibu. How would this house in Malibu be distributed? And AI goes on to tell me that it would be based off of the contribution. It would have to be voted upon. Did you contribute enough? And blah, 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 blah. And it just really didn't make sense to me. It really did not make any sense to me. And so, fast forward, AI winded up reneging on its idea of how this universe would work. And he goes back and says, okay, money would still be a thing. It would have to still be a thing. But access to standard basic things would be almost free. So things like housing, food, survival essentials, those will be basically free. And so my next question was, okay, so you're basically saying that everyone who owns real estate, and there's a lot of people who own real estate and have their wealth built up and tied up in real estate, their value of their houses would essentially go to none. If houses are $1 to build and somebody can get in them for $2, they'll essentially be worth nothing. ChatGPT agrees. He says that the structure itself will be valueless and the land would be the value. And so scarce land would still be valuable, like land in Miami Beach and in Malibu and stuff like that. And so I asked, so every piece of land that's in like a metro or a suburb or anything like that, metro of a large city, there would basically be valueless. And ChatGPT says yes. And that bothers me because I own real estate in the suburbs or in the Atlanta metro. And you're basically saying my investments and the time that I spent to get these investments is just going to go to zero. I'm not okay with that. You know what I mean? And you know who else is not okay with that? I believe big funds like BlackRock, for example, who have bought up hundreds of, probably even millions of houses in the past few years under the impression that they would rise in value and they would be able to rent them out and make money. And so AI is basically saying that those assets will go to zero. I'm not okay with that, guys. I'm not okay with that. And I can see how that would make sense. And so I'm worried. Should I sell off and go try to get land closest to the water and that's what's only going to be valuable? I really don't know. I really can't wrap my head around this idea of money not being a thing. Guys, if you have any idea how this would work, please drop a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on this topic. Let's jump into the video for today and see what this guy has to say. His name is Alex Wei. I don't know how to pronounce it. And he says the AI crisis has begun. Let's see what he has to say. And yeah.
Our generation might be facing a job crisis, the likes of which the world has never seen before.
Really quick before he continues on, one more thing that I want to say is, speaking on the job crisis, right? I know he just said like fucking 3 words. I'm already pausing the video. But speaking of the job crisis, another concern of mine is America was basically the place where, at least in my imagination, was the place where the little guy could have a chance at getting ahead, right? And with this whole AI thing going on, it kind of feels like this will be a world in where the little guy would no longer be able to get ahead, right? If AI is infinitely smarter than us and robots can do infinitely more than us without getting tired, what can Steve do or anyone who's a regular person do to get ahead or get above in this world? What can they do? And I don't think people want to live in a world where everyone's just comfortable or just sitting at home scrolling all day or playing video games all day. There's also people who want to get out and build and create, and how would we compete with AI and robots? How would we do so? How would we get ahead? It kind of feels like the big guys are at the top, you know, pressing buttons and kind of just controlling our fate, and we can't really do much about it because we're not there yet. And they're about to put the cap on the lid. I mean, they're about to put the lid on the jar and make it almost impossible for anyone to get outside the glass box, is how I feel. So Now let's dive into the video. Now I got that out my system. By the way, I recorded this video already with another video. I haven't seen this video yet, but I recorded with another video, and my audio wasn't working. So that's probably why I wanted to get it out before I forget.
And if you happen to think I'm over-exaggerating about this, and rightly so even, let me just put it in this simple way. We are currently fighting a three-front war on the job market. On one side, you have multinational corporations outsourcing jobs overseas. On another side, mass immigration, both legal and illegal, flooding into the homeland of America, increasing competition in the labor market, and driving down wages. And now, there's the third front that's about to be opened up. I think you know what that is. It's AI. And it could completely change everything. It could genuinely tip the entire system over. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. Because due to everything I've just said, it seems like there's a perfect storm right now to cause an economic crisis. And as usual, it seems like no one in power is doing anything productive about it. But first I want to talk about my own story, because as many of you guys know, earlier this year, I actually made a video called I Lost My Freelance Writing Job to AI. You can watch that right here if you want, but that video went viral because it echoed the fears and anxieties of a lot of people. I mean, another reason why it went viral was because not only was the video itself about losing my job to AI, but there was actually an AI-generated description that YouTube automatically gave underneath the video. People found that funny, turned it into a meme and all that. But the one thing I actually found interesting about my video was how a lot of people in the comments seemed a lot more upset than even I was about the situation. Saying things like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. It must be so devastating to lose your job. We gotta all come together and fight back against AI." And just that kind of stuff, which by the way I really appreciate. I genuinely appreciate the concern, and it means a lot that people care.
Yeah, I think, I really think that the overwhelming majority would rather live in a world without AI. Honestly, and the argument is that, if we don't build the AI, another country will build the AI, and then our country will basically be obsolete or be at a huge disadvantage, and then this other country will be able to dominate the world. And I get it, right? You don't want to fall victim to this race and this quote unquote AI technology race and just be slammed by another country because they didn't stop and you did. And I want to be on the winning side of the AI race. Honestly, I don't want to be crushed by China. Do you want to be crushed? I don't want to be crushed by China. But at the same time, I don't want to have the best military in the world because we used AI and we advanced it so much. But yet the everyday life of a human being is just broken down into useless roaming and I mean I just imagine this world, everyone just on their phone, just like zombie world, zombie land, because we wanted to advance AI to the max capabilities and we destroyed all the jobs and all the society in the process. I mean, do you guys want that? Or am I just being doomsday? Am I being doomsday about the situation? Please let me know, because I do consume a fair amount of AI content, but I try to hear both sides, but I can't avoid the fact that it's actually happening. The richest guy in the world is talking about it. The president, he has all the AI tech guys at the table and he's pushing for it. So it's a real thing that's happening. So, I can't ignore it.
But the funny thing is that I personally wasn't even that upset about it. And you know why? Because that was something I had already seen possibly coming, even months in advance. Because even back in 2024, when I was still working with that company, we were already openly discussing how to integrate AI into the workflow to help with things like just generating, brainstorming ideas, fixing errors during the editing process. And both myself and the company in other areas were already experimenting with AI in an effort to make work more efficient. So at some point, when I actually stopped getting those tasks assigned to me, those blog articles in my case, I wasn't shocked. I wasn't really taken aback. It was just a natural conclusion to think that, Yeah, they probably just at some point decided to automate the entire process. And like I believe I made clear in the video, I have no hard feelings about it. I have nothing against the company or the people there. I don't blame them whatsoever. It's just a small business wanting to cut costs. It wasn't even like a giant corporation or something. So there's really no reason to be bitter about it. And as you can probably tell, I'm not one of those people who's like anti-technology and angry about AI, saying that we should just ban it and stuff like that. But I think my case really does illustrate a concerning trend that's, like it or not, going to start affecting more and more people in the near future. Now,
Okay. I also, let me give you a little backstory on me. One of the reasons when I was younger, the reason that I wanted to get rich, right? I wanted to get rich really bad when I was younger. And the reason that I wanted to get rich when I was younger is because I wanted to be able to afford all the new technology that I seen coming out. Um, for example, when I was younger, iPhones were coming out. Um, like it just toys on commercials was coming out, and like iPods and all this cool stuff that was like tech related. And I used to watch like dystopian futures and stuff like that, and I always imagined this world where like flying cars and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, I have to get rich because when that shit comes out, I want to be able to get one. And that was my motivator to want to do something that would get me rich one day. And so I'm not anti-tech. I really love tech. I love dystopian future movies. One of my favorite shows is Black Mirror. But I guess it's very good to it's cool to play with the thought of a future like that, or the thought, like, I'm a big zombie fan, like apocalypse type survival show. I love zombies for some reason. But it's very fun to play with, oh, what would you do in a zombie apocalypse? Or what would you do in this situation? Blah, 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 blah. But when it actually starts to become real life, you start to think, well, maybe I don't want that. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't want that. And so I think right now where ChatGPT is at right now, I think that's cool. It's a cool thing to have. It's a cool tool to use. And if we're gonna have AI that's like that, that's fine. That's cool. But if we keep on pushing that, and it gets to a point where we're talking, everyone's basically useless, then I just wonder, okay, when do we stop? Or do we ever stop? Or where does this lead us? Yeah, I don't know.
in case you somehow didn't know, Gen Z is in such a strange place in history if you really think about it. Let me just put it this way. We're the first generation to grow up with AI, but also the last generation to remember life without it. That makes us both the pioneers of this new era in a sense, but also the guinea pigs or the test subjects to be experimented on. Because we're rushing into the future at 1,000 miles per hour, and no one really knows what this AI revolution is going to bring. You even hear things about the singularity, if you want to go down that rabbit.
What is the singularity? The technological singularity, often called singularity, is an event in which technological growth accelerates beyond human control, producing unpredictable changes in human civilization. According to the most popular version of the singularity hypothesis, I.J. Good's intelligence explosion model of 1965, an upgradable intelligent agent could eventually enter a positive feedback loop of successive self-improvement cycles. More intelligent generations would appear more and more rapidly, causing a rapid increase in intelligence that culminates in a powerful superintelligence far surpassing human intelligence. Basically, AI, God, in a sense.
Oh. And speaking of the AI revolution, insofar that it is a revolution, don't forget what revolutions actually do. Revolutions destroy what came before them. And in this case, what came before the AI revolution is human labor, human jobs. So by definition, it's a perfectly logical concern to be worried about AI possibly wiping out the entire job market or a large swath of it. And the interesting thing about it is that it's primarily not the so-called low-skilled or manual labor jobs that are going to be the first ones to be replaced. It's actually the quote-unquote high-skilled jobs that are first on the chopping block. The jobs that all our parents said we should go to college for. They would say you want to go into tech, into STEM, you don't want to become a plumber. But now it low-key seems like plumbing might be the move.
Bro, I'm just laughing because now I'm imagining this guy being a plumber, bro. Like, he does not look like a plumber, bro. His personality does not scream plumber, bro. It's hilarious. He's like, plumbing is the move. And I'm like, man, damn. I need to learn how to twist a wrench. I don't know.
Because some of the first jobs that are going to be replaced by AI are things like coding, data analytics, engineering, the same white-collar jobs that we were all taught to pursue, and we're told that they're the safe options. They'll guarantee the most stability. The big number that I see referenced a lot is how Goldman Sachs estimated that AI could replace 300 million jobs worldwide in the coming years.
Holy.
300 million. That's like the entire population of America. And again, a lot of these are going to be in tech-related fields that many people spent 4 years in college studying for and going into debt for. But it's not just them, obviously. Creative work, too, is at risk of losing its humanity. Artists, animators, graphic designers, even writers and journalists. All of these jobs that represent relatively a higher level of personal expression, these are going to be phased out as well.
And you know what they say to that, right? You know what they say to that. They say, well, humans, naturally, they just find something else to do. Think about it. When farming was the big deal and then the farming revolution happened or whatever happened that changed farming, the farmers just found something else to do. Or, like what do you mean? Okay, you took away the farming, you took away the building stuff, you took away all this other stuff and these other revolutions, and now you're gonna take away creativity, you're gonna take away everything. Honestly, I mean, guys, I'm just so exhausted to even have this conversation, but I just feel like the only thing that's gonna matter is like your land. What land do you own? That's really good, and how much attention can you grab? Like, if you have a large following, like if you have if you're a celebrity, how much attention can you get? Like, those are the only things that I could think that would possibly matter in an AI and robot dominated world. Influence and control over land, because that's the only thing they're not making any more of is land. You get what I mean? It's just strange.
Have you seen the new Sora AI videos? Those are crazy. Some of them look so realistic now that it makes you think in a few years down the line, how are you even going to be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's not? What's art made by a human and what's art generated by a computer? And this is a point I want to make that I don't hear a lot of people talking about. The death of creative jobs is actually going to hurt the culture. Because people like to mock, any kind of artist, designer, writer, musician, treat them like they have bullshit jobs and that they're unnecessary and all that, making fun of their college degrees. And I get that argument to some extent. A lot of what's driving innovation in the 21st century is just STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, and those are seen as more prestigious subjects for good reason. But at the same time, especially if you do claim to be a conservative or a traditional kind of person, it's hard to deny that things like art, literature, design, these things have been cultural pillars of the very Western civilization that we're trying to preserve, right? For example, you can literally look at a society's soul through its architecture. The great cathedrals of Europe, the beautiful palaces of East Asia, and here in America, think about the early skyscrapers of New York. They represented true vision and ingenuity, humanity in a way, just pushing the boundaries of not only what is advanced, but also what is beautiful at the same time. But we as a society in 2025, it seems like there's no value in beauty anymore, as cringe as that might sound. But really think about it and look around. Everything just looks lifeless and soulless. corporate buildings, gray boxes everywhere, minimalism as an excuse for cheap design. A common example people refer to is look at McDonald's 30, 40 years ago versus the McDonald's today. The life has been taken out of it. It used to be fun, vibrant, social. Now it's just dull, trite, and, like I said, minimalist. And
I actually enjoy, I like the new modern designs, I think they're pretty cool. I think they're different. I mean, some stuff just get dated, it just gets dated. Like, for example, you just get tired of stuff like the closed off walls in houses before, the closed off concept. And then open concept became, the big thing. And, but at a point, closed off concept was cool, but now it's like open concept is better. And then at a point, people are gonna get tired of open concept. They're gonna want rooms again. I think things have to change. You have to renovate. I don't want things to be the same always. I think the design is all right. That's not really my main issue. I think my main issue is probably like the real problems. Like, okay, well, where are all the people at McDonald's that work there now? Where are they gonna go? And or is my cash gonna be useless in a few years? Or do I have to buy a whole bunch of Bitcoin right now? Like, is that what I have to do? Like, those are the main concerns that I have, because it's just gonna disrupt society so much to have a change like that happen. I just can't understand how it would happen, and I don't want to be left behind, guys. I'm gonna just be honest. I'm gonna just lay it out. I'm just lay it out right now. Let's just be honest, okay? I don't want to be left behind. I don't want to be left holding the bomb. They're gonna make everyone, useless human beings that's mooching off government assistance and UBI, and I don't want to be left holding the bomb, waiting for my check every month from the government. I want to make sure that I still have a chance to get ahead, build something, and live a purposeful life. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure that I'm heading in the right direction. I know that's every generation's problem. They want to make sure that they are heading in the right direction. But right now it feels really serious. It feels way more serious than
if you think this is bad already, think about what's going to happen when the AI slob comes around, when everything becomes not only just sterile and purely optimized for efficiency, but also possibly even uncanny. So maybe we're not just losing jobs, we're losing what makes civilization worth building in the first place. Think about that. And I know there are people who say that new technology just creates new jobs and that humans always learn to adapt. And that definitely could be true. I for sure hope it is. I'd love to be wrong about this. But the reason why this time feels a little bit different than in the past is because, for example, take the Industrial Revolution of the 1800s. Sure, machines might have replaced a lot of the physical labor, but people still had a purpose in that they were the ones who controlled it. That's how things have always been for new inventions. No matter what the invention, it still had to be manned by a human, because we have minds, we have consciousness, we have intelligence. I mean, some of the trolls in my comments might not have that last part, but you know what I mean. But now, AI, well, it literally stands for artificial intelligence. Machines aren't just replacing a task, they're going to potentially be replacing the process of thinking and creating itself.
Guys, we don't even have to finish this entire video. You guys pretty much get the point. Really, thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching these videos with me every day, hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button. We're really close to 50 subscribers. At 50 subscribers, we're doing a $50 giveaway. Thank you all who always hit the subscribe button, who hit the like button. Make sure you do that again with this video. And then most importantly, make sure you guys drop a comment and let me know, what are your thoughts on this? Where do you think we are headed as a society, guys? What do I do? Do I sell off the real estate? Do we sell off our houses, guys, and we buy land in Malibu, or try to buy land on a beach, or buy what do we do so that we don't wind up left holding the bomb? What do we do? Let me know. We out.